Early in the morning. Brewing as is from the first time you start to get from energy takes like 10 hours. So in the morning, at 5 o'clock, the guys come in, they take their bags of grain and they put them through a mill. And what that mill does is it cracks open the grain and exposes the sugar inside. The purpose behind that is we could just take all that grain and throw it into the mash tun and boil it. Not a whole lot would happen for a long time. You have to crack it open to get that sugar inside opened up, and then it can speed up the process. So this bad boy is filled with hot water, and then we take all of that grain that's filled and we throw it into our mash tun and fill it with hot water. As this is going on, it starts to boil, and all those sugars are getting extracted out of the grains. As those sugars are getting extracted, they go into our brew kettle. Once it's in here, this is where you add in anything else you're going to add in to beer. Hops, Belgian candies, kind of think of like roasted malts for the darker beers. Our lava liquid has chamomile in it. Anything else you're going to put in is that's when it goes into the kettle. You add it all at different periods of time in the brewing process, and that creates different flavors. A great example of this is with IPAs. If you were to add hops very early in the boiling process, it's going to give the beer a very bitter flavor. But if you add hops at the very end, it's going to give the beer an aromatic nose to it. So the other big purpose of the brew kettle is for sterilization. Back in the day, when monks were making beer and they made beer in medieval times, they thought beer had some kind of holy properties because people could drink it and not die, which was not necessarily true. It was purely because they were boiling all of the bacteria and parasites out of the water, and that's why people could actually consume it and not choke. So once it's in here, it boils for a certain amount of time. When it's done boiling, there is a process that's called a whirlpool, where the water inside there starts spinning around really, really fast like a whirlpool, and there's an extra grate at the bottom, and it kind of pulls all the sediment down, and then the beer stays on top. Just tell them I'll be there in like 10 minutes. Because we don't want to bring all of that stuff through our filter, because we'll clog our filter. So once this is done, the product that we have right now is called wort. Wort is just sugar water for beer. So we use these red hoses on the wall, we hook them up in here, we put down the line. And so we need to get the beer primed and to get it primed for the chemical reaction. This also serves a really cool part. We try to do as much as possible to be eco-friendly here. The cold water gets warmed up, and we can cycle it back into the hot water liquor tank so we can start brewing again. We can save on energy. So once it's done here, bring it down the tank. It gets that red hose going to the bottom here. We start filling up our tank full of our water. We put the yeast in the top, and the yeast eats the sugar, and the byproduct is alcohol. This is how you get alcohol in beer. All chemistry, if anybody is really good with chemistry, you can understand. So a couple things that go on in the reaction so that we know the beer is processing well. One, as the yeast is eating the sugars, CO2 molecules have to fly off as part of the chemical reaction. If we don't let it vent out, the tank will explode. We have a very active dark beer over here that's venting all over our floor at the moment. You can see it. It's very still going over there. I see the carbon are really popping out, like based on the color. Gauges on them, as well as glycol liners, so we can control the temperatures of our tank. All the beers that we make here are ales, which means that they are top fermenting or fermenting beer. Lagers, pilsners are all bottom fermenting, cold fermenting. We don't have the capability of doing that right now. We'll do that sometime. A couple other things that are going on. Every day we pour a sample out of the tank and we taste it. Taste it for flavor, for colors, for clarities, any off notes that are coming. We check for specific gravity, which determines how much alcohol is ultimately in the beer. So once they're in these tanks, it takes about 7 to 10 days to get a finished product. So once we have a finished product, we need to filter, which is what this guy is right here. We filter 90% of our beers here. We don't have to filter beer, but we just choose to. If you don't filter beer, it really changes the mouthfeel of the beer, the flavors. There's, residual yeast can really bother people's stomachs as well, so we just choose to filter all. One beer that we do not filter is our barley wine, which is in one of these tanks right now. We're debuting next weekend. guy is full of different layers of Todd, Michelle, I never can remember this term. It's a shell material that's in here. So good thing for people to know. Beer is vegetarian, but it's not vegan. So if you have any vegan friends, you can tell them that they're killing themselves by eating crustaceans and tell them they're bullshit. Anyway, so it's done. Full drink, look back in the tank. And then we hook up CO2 line, and we pressurize the tank until it comes out to the right consistency that we like. So once it's done, we can do two things. We can package it by canning, bottling, or kegging. So kegging is relatively very easy. Again, it's a device you hook up on the bottom, and then the top looks just like a keg topper, fill right on the top. And it's just a pressure gradient. Beer goes flying into the keg when it's full, stops. Easy. If you watch your step and come along this way, I'll show you my other device. So this is our canning line. Her name's Daphne. You usually have at least one cask conditioned beer. Unfortunately, we don't usually always have that on tap here because we have a lot of high profile accounts that want to take it all the time. Down in Denver, there's a bunch of really nice beer bars that are always taking our cask in fresh craft. And if you're an Eagle, the Kentucky Tavern always has one of theirs on. So that's pretty much it. So we started out just with this small facility, just distributing in Colorado. We are now in 9 states. And we just sent a pallet off to Sweden as well. So that is the down and dirty of Crazy Mountain. You guys have any questions? Kind of a lot to digest.
How often do you get barrels? Do you use like a barrel multiple times?
Nope, only once. Because if you're going to extract the flavor of whatever was in there before, you can only use it once. So next door at the other side of the building, we have about 20 barrels down there. We've got Zinfandel, Chardonnay, bourbon, Merlot.
And what's the beer like when it comes out of a wine barrel?
It takes the flavor of whatever's in there, but it does not change the alcohol content. A lot of people think like, oh, I want a barrel-aged beer because I'm going to get really messed up. But it's not. It's going to taste like you're going to get, it tastes just like bourbon, but it doesn't have any extra alcohol. It's just pulling in all those flavors that's pulled out of the oak. Yep.
Can you share with us what kind of volume you guys push through here? How many kegs?
People ask me that all the time, and I'm not sure. I do know that we brew twice a day on a 17.5 barrel, 5 days a week. So whatever that equals,
a lot of beer.
A lot of beer. Yes. I've never. That number is a big one. I can't remember. But all right, let's walk you back to the side. And you're welcome to kind of poke your head around a little more. Just don't catch it.